Yo, Morgan.
Hey.
Sorry, uh, decided to, host poker right as you have your stream thing, but hopefully I don't take too many people off of it.
Yeah, not a problem.
Oh, we only have, wait, there's only one chat. How should we do this? Because if we're gonna have like a poker chat, should we have like a second call chat, I guess? Here, I'll make one real quick.
Hello? You're not.
Hey.
Hi. Can't see your stream yet.
No, I'm gonna start. I am streaming on Twitch, but I will start the stream on Discord now.
Should we? Are you okay with the poker? I mean, is that a good idea? I don't know whether people can multitask, or I don't know who is interested in poker or who is not.
Um. Yeah, I don't mind. It's fine.
Hey, yeah. So I think you had a couple of people that really want say that they're joining for the stream.
Yeah, I'll give it a couple more minutes and then I'll get started.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, General J, how's it going? I will get started in just a minute. Cool, right. So, how did we finish the last session off? Okay, so we dropped some characters into our main scene, right? So, we've got these four characters that our artist Simone has created for this course, and we dropped them into our textures folder here, inside our game folder, and then we just simply dragged them out into our main scene. Now we will move these characters around by the end of this session using our keyboard controls, but I want to start a little bit more basic to so that I'm not overloading anybody with too many scripts and too many things on the screen. So what we can do for the moment, and this is probably a good thing for everyone to know in Unity anyway, is how to sort of momentarily hide things. Now actually you have this eye here, and you can actually momentarily hide things from a scene. That's not exactly what we want because it only hides it from the scene view here. But if we want to just tuck them away and come back to them later, we can either just select them all like this. So we can select the top one, then shift click, select the bottom one, and then in the inspector you can use this tick here to kind of just disable them. So that's one way you can do it. Another way, if say actually having all these things kind of, because they still remain in your hierarchy view and they still look a little bit kind of messy. So another way is kind of like treating game objects almost like folders, right? And this is a good way of organizing your scenes, is creating a game object. So if we right click in our main scene and we choose create empty, and let's just call this characters, like so. And often you'll find that the position is doesn't start at 0, so we can just do reset here, and that kind of zeros that game object. But that's not really what we care about really about this game object. We just want to use it like a folder to put these characters underneath. So again, click on the top one, shift left click on the bottom, and then we can drag them like we're dragging into a folder into this characters game object. And it technically they're children now of this game object. And you get some interesting side effects from doing this, and one thing is that now we can move all these characters all together, because they're all children of this main character game object. If we move this main characters game object, it will move all the children along with it. So to just show you how that works, if I just click and drag, so we're changing the X, we can move all our children all in one go like that. And of course you can do the same with Y. And so that can be very, very handy, as you can imagine, for organizing. Say maybe you're drawing a map and you want to put maybe a forest of trees on the map. Then could be, if you want to move the forest around, right? Just call it forest, put the trees underneath here, and you can move them around that way. So that's pretty handy to know. The other thing is that if we collapse, then that's a nice way of getting kind of rid of our characters. And that's good. And then we can also disable that game object, like so. And now our characters are out of the way. Cool. Right. So now I'm going to show you how to move this ball around the screen using user input. Now Unity has two user input, two ways of handling user input. They have a kind of legacy way, and they have the new Unity input system. And I will cover both ways because actually it's kind of handy to know both ways. Obviously, everybody who's been using Unity has been using the existing input system for multiple years, and it's worked fine. But the new input system is very nice. It's probably going to be the preferred method of handling user input going forwards, and so you should definitely know the new one. And I would say choosing between the two is a little bit tricky. I would say use the older system if you're writing smaller games or maybe game jam games, or you just get on with it better and you prefer it, and use the new input system for more complicated games, larger games. And if you want to be 100% future proof, I doubt Unity's gonna completely get rid of the old system, but I would guess that the new input system is going to be well supported going forwards. So let's look at the older input system for moving this ball around. Now we do have this move ball script. Let's just remind ourselves what that looks like. and that was just moving the ball without any taking into account any user input at all, right? So let's just make that as large as I can on this screen so you can see it. And if this is the first time you're seeing a C# script, I mean, we went over this a bit in that last session, but just to quickly go over this code, we have a vector3 speed, which we can actually get at within the editor. So if I just flick back to the editor and click on the ball, we can see this speed here with the X, Y, and Z is actually our vector3 here. So a vector3 is essentially a variable that can hold 3 float numbers together. So it holds an X, a Y, and a Z. And so it's very handy for actually, I mean, correctly, it's kind of velocity, yeah. So because it's speed in multiple directions. So what we're doing with this is, in update, this update method gets called over and over again, multiple times per second, and we are taking the current position of our ball, and our ball has this transform component on it, so that's how we get to the position. And every frame we're adding our speed to this position times our delta time, which I explained last time is a way of making sure that our speed doesn't change depending on the speed of our computer. So you can delve into this a bit more, the theory behind it, or you can just consider it like a magic way of making sure that your speed works consistently across multiple machines. Now, if I hit play, as we can see, we can tweak these values and move our ball on the X, and as you can see, our ball is moving to the right now, and we can increase our Y, and then we can see that our ball is going up a bit, and we can increase it, and it's going up kind of diagonally because these two numbers are almost the same, so that's like that 45 if these were identical. Of course, that's not a very good way of controlling, getting your player to control the items in your game. You want to support standard keys like maybe the WASD keys or the arrow keys. And so how would we do that? Okay, so let's edit this script, and basically what we can do is in fact, probably what I'll do is add another vector3 here just to make things clear, and we can call this something like user input, and you can see that I'm getting prompted very handily with exactly the code that would actually work there, so I'm going to cheat and accept that. But this is taking in the input from the input system that Unity is giving us, and saying, you know, get the horizontal axes, and these are defined elsewhere, and I can show you where these are defined in a bit. And it says get the axis, the horizontal axis, get the vertical axis as it is now. The Z, because we're doing 2D, our Z always wants to be 0. And that what we can simply do now is copy this, and basically we want to just let's see, that plus our user input, and then multiply that by our speed and our delta time. And now our speed actually shouldn't be a vector, it just needs to be a float now, because we can't multiply two vectors together. So let's make this a float like this, and that should be enough to actually get our item moving around. So let's see this working. So our speed is set to 0, so if we hit play and we hit our AWSD keys, we wouldn't expect anything to happen because we have a speed of 0, but let's increase this. And then now if I hit the D key, we go right. If I hit the S key, we go down, A left, W up. And that's how we can move our item around, our game object around. And if we increase our speed, we can go even faster. We can actually use the arrow keys as well. So it's actually as simple as that to get started with taking in user input in your game and moving stuff around. Right. But let's see some kind of possible pitfalls with this. Now, the first thing that perhaps isn't obvious is that, okay, left and right, that looks fine, up and down looks fine. But if I go diagonal, I mean, it's a bit hard to see, but it's let me just slow the speed down a bit. But if I go diagonal, it's quite a bit faster. So I'm going slow and then suddenly it's fast. Now that is because, and this might be good time to actually write out something to the console so you can see what's going on here. Let's write our user input so you can see what's going on here. And so you see in our console here that we got a lot of zeros here, and if we hit the right button, I've got my speed set to 0 so the ball isn't working, but we see that our X has gone to 1. Now if I hold the Y down, then our Y goes to 1 as well. And so we're actually kind of, if you think about how kind of the diagonal of a square is, you know, you're kind of getting a faster speed going on the diagonal because of that. And so it's going to take a little bit of, tiny bit of math to fix that. You're going 1 unit to the right here, you're going 1 unit up here, but here diagonally you're going yeah diagonally a little bit more than 1. So that is a problem. Now it's not a big problem, and I've seen games that actually just live with this, but let's fix it because we're a little bit better than that. So what we can do to fix it, and it's a real easy one to do, is we do something called normalization, and we just do that, normalized. What does that do? Well, let's actually throw that out to our log, and then you'll see what it's doing. And sorry if this is a bit of math and everything, and so I'm trying to stay away from too much math and just trying to give solutions to these and pointing out potential pitfalls. So that's interesting, isn't it? If we go go right, we got 1 there in the x, we go up, but if we go diagonal, we're getting 0.71, and actually that will equate to 1 unit in the diagonal, if you're good at Pythagoras. So let's have a look and see how that affects our movement. So now, there you go, our diagonal movement is the same speed as our left and right movement. So we fixed that, and that wasn't too problematic. Cool. Let's get rid of that debug. Now then, that's pretty well the simplest way to do movement in Unity, and as you see, we are directly changing the position of our transform, and there may be a reason why you don't want to do that, right? And the reason would be if you want some physics in your game that you want to kind of look after your collisions and things for you. So let's just have a look at what I mean by that. Now let's put this ball in the center, so let's select it, and then I'm hitting W key to switch to this gizmo here, which allows me to drag our ball into the center like that. And then let's go back to what we did is we did have, and we still got our ground with a box collider on, but let's put some physics back on our ball. So what we need to get physics back on our ball is we need a rigid body 2D, and that defaults to some gravity. It kind of almost presumes you're making a platformer, right? So it's adding some gravity and thinking this is down. With a top down, that's obviously not the case, but let's live with it for the moment. And if I hit play now, I might need to disable the move actually, because that's, oh no, that's working. Okay. So the ball is falling, but we need one more thing. We need a circle collider on here. So I'll choose circle collider 2D, and let's just try that. And as you can see, the ball reacts with the ground, and we've got some physics going on there, which is kind of nice, right? Okay, but what if we want to move our ball around like we were before, and we're doing a top down, and say this is a wall? Let's get rid of our gravity so we can do that, and hit play. And let's increase our speed. And as you can see, it kind of works but it's kind of trying to push through our ground there. And then if we take off moving, that's kind of not ideal, really. So we need a fix for that.
Morgan,
Yeah?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
I think you have a lot of questions in chat, and also your video is jumping between screens.
Oh, is that?
Please have a look. People are shy to talk, but they had some questions and they can't see anything. So yeah, I think there is an issue with the screens. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Let me check that out then.
Yeah, just keep checking your chat. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, sorry guys, let me just see if I can sort out that. You can always talk in the chat and chat to me, no problem at all. Let's have a look. So... Screen keeps jumping into the scene window when you hit play. So you're narrating as you can see. Yeah. But we see a blank screen. Okay. Oh yeah, it does go blank, doesn't it? That's a bit annoying. I wonder if that's because I'm using an iPad as a second screen. Let me just kill that and see if that fixes it, because that's probably just confusing it. I think I'm probably going to have to share my whole screen, because that's probably the problem. Let me just do that instead. It's a bit of an annoyance because yeah. Okay, give me a second, because if I share the whole screen, that's going to be a little bit annoying. Right, just trying to clean up my rather messy desktop before I share my whole screen. Okay, cool. I think I can go live now. Cool. Share the mess. Yes, I know. Right, the only trouble is I'm not going to be able to go full screen for you guys because on OBS I'm sharing just in a small area. Is that going to be, are you going to be able to see that at that size? The Discord is a mess. Yeah, that is true. Okay, well, give us a shout if yeah, so now you presumably you can kind of see the code and that. Yeah, it looks like you can see. I only see Discord. Really? Oh, sugar. Really? Oh yeah. What? What is going on? Okay, let me stop and start again. Right, share screens. Yeah, that's it. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, it's a difficulty with streaming on Twitch and streaming on Discord, and yeah, I'm gonna have to think about a good solution for that for the next time actually. I haven't really thought that through. Right, okay, cool. So where were we? Yeah, you can just about see that, can't you? So I don't want to maximize it because I want to keep it in this small this area that I'm sharing on OBS. But yes, I'll rethink that for next time. Okay, cool. So we were going over the problem of yeah, this way of doing movement doesn't really mesh nicely with physics, right? So there's kind of various solutions to this. The best solution is to work with the rigid body somewhat directly. So let's just stop this and let's have a look at how that would work. So instead of doing this, we can actually do get component, rigid body, and we can set the velocity. I mean, my Visual Studio is suggesting I set the velocity directly. That you can do it that way, but it is not 100% recommended. And the sort of preferred way of doing this is to do move position, but you don't want to do it in update, right? So I will not carry on typing in here. We need to do it somewhere else. So where shall we do it? We actually want to do it in fixed update. So fixed update is basically anything that you want to kind of update and be kind of more physics friendly. You want to do the updates in here. So if we do rigid body 2D and we do move position this time, and we can do something like, let's see, transform dot position, and that looks about right actually. Transform position plus new vector 3. So it's very, very similar to this line here, but we're using the rigid body 2D's move position function, right? And we don't need this anymore, so let's just, we could do this line again up here, like here, but we're actually just kind of doing it all on one line this way. So that's the only real difference here, is that we're, we're doing all this kind of on the same line. If that's confusing, then I can just basically do it how I was doing it last time, which is, and let me just do that just to keep things a little bit perhaps tidier. I'm not entirely sure whether it is. So take that and paste that there, and yeah, we want to normalize it, don't we? Like so. Right, let's see if this plays a little bit nicer with our physics engine. And let's actually put a speed in here so that we don't forget that. And there you go. Now we don't have this problem of kind of going, so we can still move around and our movement is kind of reasonably fine, but we're not going through the floor anymore, and we're respecting the physics engine a bit better by doing it that way. So it really does depend. These decisions of how to move things around, which methods to use, really does depend on the type of game you're doing. Whether you have a lot of physics in your game, then you maybe want some kind of controller that that meshes better with the physics engine. Or if you're doing everything yourself and you're ignoring the physics engine, then that first way of doing things might be fine. It really does depend. So that is the kind of standard or legacy input system, and as you can see, it's very, very simple, right? So we're just calling input dot get axis horizontal, right? And you can actually do other things like get key down. So in fact, let's just do that just for just to kind of prove that. So what I can do is something like if input dot get key down key code dot space, and again, it seems like VS Code is reading my mind here, but let's type this in fully. So I can do add force here, and let's do a new, well, let's do jump vector like that, and we'll add a public vector2 jump vector up here like so. Let's make sure it's happy down here. And what we can also do is, if you want to give it some defaults, we can actually just do an equals new vector, and you tend to jump just on the y, so let's put a y of, yeah, y of 5 might do it. I think it probably wants to be a bit bigger than that. Let's say 10. And what we're doing here is we're kind of adding a force to this, a momentary force, when we hit the spacebar. So this will fire just once. So holding down the spacebar won't, shouldn't keep firing this. Let's see. Well, that's not happy. Let's have a look. Let's actually add some gravity here, and we actually want to take away our move code so it doesn't get in the way. So let's just do that. So let's just comment out our move code, so we just don't confuse our object. We're just doing a basic jump here. Is that nowhere near big enough? I think it needs to be pretty big. Huh. This is not working at all. Interesting. Ah, there you go. Ah, because it is on as I'm holding. Ah, right, because I need to do this, I think, in the... That's interesting. Yeah, let's debug this, because this is quite interesting why this isn't working. Get key, add force jump vector. It could be that force mode 2D impulse, but let's just double check. Jumping. Yes, the reason why this is not very happy is because we're looking for this in fixed update. I think that's the problem, and fixed update is not the best place to look for key input. So let's fix that. So if I do that in here instead, this is going to be a lot happier. And I can actually do the add force in the update. Just, we don't need that. And that will actually be a lot happier. But in an ideal world, you'd probably want to capture the space pressing in the update and actually do the jump in the fixed update. But let's just do it in the update just to get this working. It could be just my machine playing up. That's interesting. Let's kill this. Debug jumping. And probably we just need to increase this. Yeah, there you go. So it is happier here. It's just we need a much bigger force. So that is kind of one way you could add jumping into your game. Right, let me just see if there's any questions. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? So the fixed update does, I think, tend to happen less often. And so, yeah, it's definitely not the place where you would see looking for keyboard input. So that was definitely a good thing to point out, really. And adding the force here is probably not too problematic. But like I say, you may, in an ideal world, want to do it in fixed update. And I guess one way you could do that, let's just do it, shall we? Because a little bit of a tangent, but these are all good things to think about. So you could just do if jump then exactly add force to make jump false, and here we just make jump equal to true, and of course we need this jump boolean up here. So let's put it right at the top. Well, actually we can make it here, and if you don't care about exposing a variable to the world, or to the editor at least, make it private. And sort of later on in the course I'll talk a little bit more about public and private variables and best practices and things like that, but I won't delve into that too much here. But as a general rule of thumb, if you don't think you're going to change something in another object, or you don't need to kind of see it in the editor, then make it private. So let's have a look and see if this is happy. Let's remember to up this a decent amount. There you go. So that is probably the kind of ideal way of handling jump. Of course, you can double jump. That's a whole other matter, in that you probably want to only be able to jump when the person is on the ground. And if there's anyone's interested in how to deal with that, I can cover that. But there's definitely ways of figuring out if your item is on the ground and your game object is on the ground, and you'll see that in a lot of character controllers they'll have some code for you'll see is grounded, and that's basically to stop this double, triple, quadruple jumping. Cool. Right. I do want to cover the new input system, and let's do that now. Right. So this is a little bit trickier to set up, and like I say, if you're doing a game jam or you just want to get up and running, as you can see, you can get input from the keyboard. Input.get key down is your friend there. If you want AWSD and arrow stuff, then your horizontal and vertical will do the trick out of the box. Any questions? Hello, Anna.
Hi.
No, don't think there are any questions.
Did you answer your questions earlier? I see a lot of... I'm the question police, Morgan, tonight.
You are.
I take it you've answered all the questions.
How hard is it to create a game like, and oh, actually General J's gone, so probably because I didn't answer any of his questions. No, because he went to sleep. Yeah. Okay.
So you haven't seen that Kitsune said that he can't see anything.
Yeah, so this is something I'm going to have to fix for next time, right? Because obviously for Discord it just wants to share my whole screen or an app, but for streaming, OBS and everything, I just want to share a portion of my screen. So it's a little bit tricky to do both at the same time. Anyway, let's talk about this later.
Maybe you can redo this session tomorrow.
No, I think it's fine. I'll edit it down, and yeah, maybe I can redo it. I'm definitely going to have to redo this for the course.
Yeah.
Although the streams would have been fine, yeah. So the streams would have been streaming out, no problem. Okay, so what I'll probably do then actually is I won't do the new input system now. I'll leave it for tomorrow, and I'll do a very quick recap of what I've done today, and do the new input system, and then that'll be good. And I'll try and resolve the Discord, Twitch streaming debacle. Wonder why I didn't come up the previous streams. Maybe I just didn't do too much scripting. No one noticed. Or maybe the thing to do is just get everybody in Twitch. Yeah, anyway. Cool, so Ed, I'll carry on. I'll carry on tomorrow, and I'll carry on with the new input system. How are you getting on? You can, if you're there and you can chat, just give us a shout. Cool. Okay. Well, it might be easier for me to actually just stream it on Twitch. I think Discord is going to be a little bit tricky because it just has its own way of handling streams. I don't think I can pipe OBS from OBS. If I could pipe from OBS directly into Discord, that would do the trick, but I don't think I can.
Well, we checked, right, and there wasn't an integration, so that's where the problem lied, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I can still have the chat in Discord, right? The audio chat, but I think the streaming will just have to be elsewhere.
Yeah. It would have been nice to be in Discord really to really attract people, but then yeah, if it doesn't work.
Well, although Ed's saying it's fine, and actually, if I'm okay sharing the whole of my screen, I just wanted to tidy up my shortcuts and stuff. So yeah, if I'm prepared and that I need to do that, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I can carry on doing that then, and I'll just have to explain to people that the window is going to be a little bit smaller in Discord, and if they want a full window, they'll have to go to Twitch.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you, Morgan.
Cool. Thanks, Ed. Yeah. Hopefully see you tomorrow.